I feel like we should start with some background. Hey, Dad. Chris Lemonis joins us, head baseball coach at Mississippi State, coming off a large weekend for the Bulldogs, winning 2 out of 3 against Ole Miss. So, Coach, back in July of 2022,
I already told him.
Oh, he knows the whole Palmer Holmes story?
He knows. Absolutely.
Okay. So thanks to the exploits of your baseball team this weekend, apparently I will be donning Mississippi State gear on July 13th of 2023 as we try to raise money for Palmer Home. Thanks for that.
That's awesome. That Palmer Home, that's a great benefit. Just let me know. I'll send you something over. All right? If you need gear.
We look forward to it. It's a great organization, and people have been incredibly generous. Coach, what a weekend.
Yeah, it was a good baseball, but also what a crazy environment. Our people here in-house, our athletic department did a great job. Our fans showed up like never before, and just a lot of fun.
What are you going to take away in terms of like the mental image when you think back to this weekend, and specifically the Saturday game where you guys set the record, somewhere down the line? When you think back to that day, what's the image that's going to pop into your mind?
Well, I think a lot of it's probably the Dakota swing there at the end. Just watching our kids get a chance to celebrate and have a big moment in a big time. I mean, you hate to host that game and then not win it. At the top of the ninth, I felt like I was going to puke after we gave up the lead. But, being able to see our kids celebrate. And then we've had a tough season, obvious. But them to have a day like that was pretty cool.
Coach, you gave up 13 runs on the weekend. Ole Miss only gives up, I think did the math here, 16 runs. I think if we had told both you and Coach Bianco on Friday that was what was going to happen, both of you would have felt really good about your chances to take the series and maybe even get all 3 games. 10 walks is the number that stands out to me. Only 10 walks. You've had games with 10 walks. Did you feel like you turned a corner pitching-wise this weekend?
Well, I think it's a couple things. One, we've been working bullpens, trying to get balls in the right part of the strike zone and being aggressive and having more success. That's one piece. And then the other is, having Cade Smith back on Friday night kind of settles the rotation. Aaron Nixon back, what big innings he had all week, and it just kind of everybody gets in a better role and back to their normal spot. And, I think that's a big piece of it too.
I asked Mississippi State men's basketball coach Chris Jans this question when his team was going through some struggles and they started to come out of it and winning games. But do you feel like the postseason kind of starts for your team now that you've got to start winning games and you just don't have a lot of room for error? Can you go ahead and take a postseason mentality here in the middle of April?
Well, I think I don't know if it's postseason mentality, but just back against the wall. I think our kids understand that we already had our hiccups early. We don't have any more, and so we have to be really focused and locked in on every weekend that we have because we need every win that we can get. And we still control our own destiny. We have a really tough schedule on the way out, but if we play like we did this weekend, we have an opportunity to get on a roll and play good baseball. And when you go through something like we did, if you come out the other side, it brings a lot of confidence to your team.
Chris, we talked 3 or 4 weeks ago about kind of the emotions, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment, all of that stuff. But you kept fighting, and you told us just unequivocally, I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe it was last week, I think 2 weeks ago, that your team was getting better. You're getting healthier and that you were getting better. Does that now, is there some payoff when you win 2 out of 3? And so it's not just words that are coming from a coach and your guys actually really start to buy in and believe that?
Yeah, there's a lot of it, especially on a weekend like we just had. I think when you're able to perform in front of those type of crowds, putting together last week, even South Carolina, we're ahead late in 2 of the games we lost. We felt like it was turning, and our practices have been better. Our health is getting better, knock on wood. It's a combination of everything. But when you start to win, it starts to become fun again. When you go through that week like we did with Kentucky and Vanderbilt, the game's not fun. And it can be a little suffocating around here, And so for them to be able to breathe a little bit and be able to play this game relaxed a little bit is a huge piece. And our practices have been really good. The last couple of weeks, we've practiced better, more upbeat, and I think that really helps going into each week.
Is there a blessing in disguise with the Southern game being canceled on Tuesday to have a week where you can give your guys a day off, you can go through your practice and kind of rest a little bit as you go into this second half?
In some ways, I would rather play because I like to be able to go out and play and get at bats, and you're going to have to find those during the week here a little bit and make sure you stay sharp after a weekend. And then we had a lot of guys that didn't pitch this. We pitched so well that a lot of guys that didn't pitch. So I'm in favor of always playing. They just had a rain out on Saturday and Sunday and had to make it up on Tuesday. So it was nothing we could control. And so we'll make the most of it. In some ways it could be. Maybe we just a little more rested and they get that night off and can catch up academically a little bit and then get ready for Auburn.
Coach, you think about all the players you've coached, all the freshmen that you've coached through the years. How close to the top is Dakota Jordan for the most talented guy?
Yeah, he's up there. I spoke with him today, and, early in the year we probably put too much on him because he had been so good for us all year and struggled. This is just a big stage, and it's fun to watch him play on it right now because you're seeing his real talent. He can do about anything in the game of baseball. He runs extremely fast. He throws. He's a good defender. He hits for average and hits for power. So it's, and he enjoys, I think he probably enjoyed that atmosphere more than anybody this weekend. He didn't look intimidated or tight or anything this weekend. He was an ultra competitor.
There was really big news last week, not to take any of the shine off of this past weekend, but there was huge college baseball news last week in terms of some changes to the recruiting calendar, what you guys can do in terms of contact with kids now, not until the start of their junior year in high school. Can you give us your thoughts on that and kind of what this change means for your baseball program and for similar programs in the SEC?
Well, I think it's going to slow down recruiting. That's the purpose of it. And I pretty much like it. We've signed some early kids before, and I've had a lot of early kids that we've gotten and committed and been great players for us. But it's also a tough evaluation when you're taking somebody at 15, 16 years old. And so you got a little bit, either way. I think it'll benefit the SEC schools because their junior year, September 1st, if they're really good, SEC schools will have the opportunity to recruit them and probably get a lot of the better players. So, and it gives some of your life back to your coaches. I can't say, it's hard to recruit a senior class, a junior class. So can you imagine sophomore and freshman? I mean, yeah. That goes all the way down, and you have to call them and talk to them and see them at tournaments, and it's a lot, And so maybe the focus can come back to the athletes we have on campus a little bit more.
So, Chris, what about the guys that you have that have committed to you already, but they are below that age? And do you now have to end all contact with them for a year, maybe 2 years, but theoretically?
Could be. Yeah, we have some freshmen committed, and they'll stay committed. We'll still go see them, but we just can't talk to them right now. So we have about 2 weeks to have those conversations, or probably less than that. Probably about 10 days to have those conversations with their families and stuff, and so they understand the rules. But we'll be out to watch them play, and a lot of them still come to our games, and we had a bunch of them here this weekend. So, but it's just it's a different time. But yeah, I think they'll stay committed, and we'll stay committed to them.
Coach, we've got about a minute left. You had to make a decision this week in your lineup. Saturday you start David Marchand at second because Amani Larry has a migraine and couldn't go. Then on Sunday he gets to start at shortstop. Lane Forsythe has had his moments this year. He's also had his struggles this year. Is that just going to be a feel thing, or is Marchand sort of forcing his way into the lineup?
Well, I definitely think David's forcing his way in the way he's playing, and it was disappointing our last scrimmage in about the eighth inning. And he was playing really good. He has a major hamstring pull, so it put him out for about a month. And so him getting back and being in the mix has been big. And, obviously we've had Lane out there. Lane's a great player, a special defender. He's just not playing great right now. And we play a cruel game, man. This game can get in your head and mess with you a little bit. I've never seen him work harder, so you got to get it out there. I mean, giving it everything he has, in practice, early, whatever. But right now, David's probably the hot hand, and we're going to play David for a while and see how things go. We're going to need Lane. I know we're going to need Lane at some point in time. And, as he gets maybe away from the playing field for a couple of days, maybe it helps clear his head.
Chris, really appreciate your time. Congratulations on a great weekend series win, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay, guys.